Hello everyone, welcome to an exciting first episode of this new Stellaris series I'm working on. Before I was working on Hand of Tesla and I didn't record that correctly the first time, then there were some other issues. So I'm going to be making a new series. I was already going to make a new series, but this is going to be about a different species. Then I'm going to probably redo the Hand of Tesla after that. That'll be exciting, but in the meantime, this species, I'm just going to open them up. Kuru shell is going to be the name of this empire. Though it's not really going to be too much of an empire, I'm just going to explain kind of what this is. But first, let's go to the basics. They're molluscoids, which means they're water creatures, and they are. I think snails are kind of cool. Snails are kind of neat. Who knows? Another time, if I have a pet, I might get a snail, even though they seem a little hard to maintain with the whole taking care of the whole water tank and all that stuff. But their species name is Kuru. It just sounds like a fun name, Kuru. This is like fun to say. Ahaha, I'm a Kuru. And the Kuru is singular and plural, and something that's Kuru. It's a very Kuru thing to do. You look very Kuru today. Adjective. It's a terrible use of that adjective. What would that even mean? Look very Kuru. You're saying I look like a snail. Yes, that was a very Kuru thing you did there. You should be a little bit faster than that. No, I'm kidding. But let's see. I'm gonna go with the humanoid names. These aren't exactly normal, average human names, but I feel like it'll be easier for me to use some of this stuff because I could have gone with a completely different one. I could have gone with some of the molluscoid names, but they just when you're saying these names and you're trying to record, the idea that you can actually say all these names all the time, no, I'm not going to be that guy that's trying to say all these names while I'm trying to dictate everything else. I made them very intelligent because I love research species. I love a species that's very strong in research. It just makes the whole process fun. Plus, they're smart, they're intellectuals. I wanted to make them intelligent as far as research output. So engineering plus 10, physics plus 10, society plus 10. They are going to be ready for research. And I just wanted to add another. Oops. What I meant to say was this. Doesn't matter. It's still going to be the same once I back out anyway. But I made them natural physicists, which gives them a plus 15 to physics. For the Hand of Tesla, which is a series I'm going to be working on again, I had them natural engineers. And it's nice to have natural engineers because they it's great when you're doing engineering research, like creating spaceports and your impulse engines and all of the different engineering things that go into it. And they're still going to get a bonus from intelligent, but physics works towards things like the speed of your faster than light travel, shields, energy weapons, and their starting weapons. This is going to be an energy weapons based species. The Hand of Tesla, they were projectile species, so naturally, because all the projectile weapons were of the engineering research category, it made sense that I would put make them more engineering focused, so it would be easier to research their weapons technology at a faster pace. But yeah, with energy weapons are all under the physics research category. So naturally, I'm going to make them natural physicists so they can get a little bonus on researching their energy weapons, researching shields, researching energy. All that stuff is going to fall along the physics research line. So that was a trait that I wanted to make sure that they had, because that's going to be most of what I get as far as research bonus, at least in the beginning of the game. To balance things out, I made them physically weak. It's going to make their army damage a little bit lower, and their minerals in the beginning they're going to get 5% less. But once we get a little research, that 5% is going to bump up. I'm just going to balance out. Ruler, Valtasa, this random name. Actually, I'm just going to change that. Jizzlord, Jafab. I like that. Okay, that's better. This species is actually oh man, I'm not gonna go there yet. They're a water species, so naturally I'm gonna have them in an ocean world. I can't imagine snails on a desert planet or on a frozen planet. I kind of just want to keep it somewhat realistic, even though who knows, there might be a species out there in the universe that actually is a snail planet, snail species, and they could be on a desert world, and it could be a different kind of snail than we've ever experienced or known before. Blah blah blah. Their homeworld name is called Kundia, and their star name is called Kunti. It just it seems like it fits into their whole language, and their whole it fits them. It fits them. But their planet is 90% water. This is what their city looks like. It's a fungaloid. I feel like I could have gone with the molluscoid, but I don't like the twirl thing. I mean, it could have been that, but I don't know. This looks. I like how this looks, so I'm gonna go with that for their for how their city looks. And Waterworld, fungaloid kind of looking cities. These guys are fanatic spiritualists. And I think it'll be fun to play this because the last species I played, the Hand of Tesla, they were materialists because they were so focused on science and on research, and they didn't have any sort of spiritual beliefs at all. In fact, they were the exact opposite, having absolutely nothing to believe in spiritual things. And since I'm a very spiritual person too, I felt like it would be fun to play a species that actually sort of are spiritualists. And there are some bonuses on either end. For instance, if you're a materialist, you get bonuses, nice huge bonuses to research. And I played that with the Hand of Tesla. They are actually that species, the Teslans, are very much research focused, and they get huge boons on research. I mean, I went through a nice amount of research chains faster than other species were even close to. But the great thing about being spiritualists is ethics divergence goes down, and that impacts a lot of things. That impacts their happiness, that impacts how they respond to different policies. It impacts, how you, as you get further away from the empire, they start to divert away from your species' core ethics and core government rules. And so when you have a low ethics divergence, they're less likely to diverge from your ethics and your beliefs. And with the ethics divergence at negative 30%, that's a huge bonus. And that pretty much means that it's going to be less likely that those that are in my empire, in my community, in my culture, it's less likely that they're going to actually diverge from our ethics, from our beliefs. And also you get a bonus to growth time, which means that they populate faster. Who thought that being a spiritualist and believing in a higher consciousness, believing in a God, would mean that you make more babies? But that seems to be the case in this program, in this game, is that if you believe in God, you're going to have a lot of babies. Have a lot of fun doing it. Also make them collectivists, because they are a society that believes that we are numerous but one, and the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Which, it works. I mean, because, they're a communal people. They're not concerned about, selfish needs or selfish wants. They're very community-oriented, group-minded people that are looking for the better good of everybody overall. And with that said, for their ethics, I chose the specific divine mandate government type. I've chosen 2 autocracies, and probably the next time I play a different species, like the Hand of Tesla, I made them a despotic hegemony because they're very much research focused and they got an extra bonus on research. And when I'm gonna remake that series probably in a short time period, but that's gonna be that. And then when we get the new expansion, Utopia, I'll probably make something along the lines of United Federation of Planets, Star Trek kind of thing going there with the democracy or pacifist, and try to play it in a different way. But who knows what I'll play next? I certainly don't, because I might change my mind. I change it quite frequently. What I like about this is that with this spiritualist society, they all follow and listen to one spiritual leader who kind of guides them. This character, the leader's going to be kind of like a Moses character for the species, and he's going to be in power and he's going to lead them until he passes on. He's going to pass it on to someone else to lead the people through their trek in space, and different interactions with different species. And you get to build a tomb monument building, and those monuments, typically when you can build a monument or you can build like a park or something like that, usually when you can build those things, they give you a bonus to like happiness or a bonus to ethics or something like that. So it'll be good when I can build one of those tomb monuments for each of the leaders that I come across throughout the game. Also, the Divine Meta gives you a bonus to edit cost, which means that it costs less to establish certain rules, and it lengthens the bonus, lengthens those edicts. So if I do, there's an edict that can increase energy production, it'll cost me 15% less, and it'll also extend it 15% longer. So instead of 10 years, it'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna do the math right now, but it'll be a nice little bonus for lengthening it out at least until like 12 years or something like that. And again, the ethics divergence means that when I have this kind of government, my people are 10% less likely to diverge from our culture. And so this is going to be a fun game for me because I get a minus 10% of the ethics divergence and also a 30%. So it's going to be a total of minus 40% ethics divergence, which means it's going to be very unlikely that my people are going to be anything other than what I set them out to be. And so they're going to all be fanatic spiritualists. They're all going to be collectivists, unless something crazy happens to where they're likely to disagree with our what we do. And the great thing is also with this species and with these government settings, we're going to be able to create other things that's going to increase our ethics divergence even more. For instance, I'm just going to go back to here. This is just a basic. This is just a basic government. We're going to get an advanced government type later on, and so all of these bonuses are going to double. So I'm going to have a negative 30% edict cost and a 30% bonus of a positive to edict duration. It's going to probably be a minus 20% ethics divergence once I get the advanced government type for this spiritualist autocracy. So I'm looking forward to that because that pretty much means that my people are going to be pretty loyal to their ideas and their beliefs. They're not going to stray as they live further away from the Empire's home world, capital planet. But then again, the Empire's name was Kuru Shell. I was tempted to call them something else, and maybe later on I might still change the name to that particular thing, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm not going to say what it is because I kind of want it to be a fun surprise if I do change the name to a different Empire name later on, and it'll be an homage to one of my favorite bands. And of course, anyway, they're the Kuru Shell, and their adjective is to shell. Shells, just so shell. The shell forces are racing forward to destroy the evil that's in the galaxy. I created this really cool looking flag. I feel like this kind of fits his appendages. He's got a little bit extra appendages here. This curl arm here, which pretty much fits this picture because that's what he's doing right there. He's got his arms like that. And the background, they've got the water because they're from a water planet. You've got the color scheme of the shell color right here and the skin tone right here. So I kind of feel like this kind of fits what they are and who they are as a people. That's the image of them. But anyway, this is just the starting episode. I'm gonna talk about one more thing. Faster than light travel. Actually, no, two more things. Faster than light travel is gonna be wormhole. I think it's fun to play wormhole travel. I've played warp travel. It's slow. Hyperdrive speed. Hyperspace travel. I haven't tried that yet. I might try that next. Experiment with it. But wormhole travel is fun specifically because it's fast. So if you have an opponent and they're traveling around in warp takes a lot longer. It's freer, you can travel just straight from here to there without too much complication, but it's so slow that in a war, like you're so slow, you're so behind your opponent. Wormhole, you choose this planet, you choose this sector, system. You choose this system, and it boom puts you there. I mean, you have to go to the wormhole, and it takes it a few moments to generate, but boom, you're there. And only problem with that is it's not direct, so you kind of have to hop between wormhole stations to get to your destination. But then again, the travel is so fast that it's not such a hindrance. With hyperdrive, you have to follow like a set course between different systems in order to get to one system. So instead of going from point A to point B, like point A to point E, you have to go to A, B, C, D, E to get to it, and that can kind of be annoying. But of course, as you advance in technology, you do eventually get faster to the point where you can even get an advanced form of travel called jump drive, which I haven't pursued yet. Only because it's a dangerous travel, dangerous technology. Finally, for the ship appearance, I just set the molluscoid ships. I think they kind of look cool, and since these guys are again molluscoids, it seems that they're more likely to have that particular ship type. I have yet to actually try reptilian ships, and I'm almost tempted to look into them, but I also won't. So that's that. This is the Kuru shell. This is just the introductory episode for the game itself. I'm just going to go back because I already did all this stuff. And let's just go select. We're going to start a new game. How large is the galaxy? The further you get into the game and the larger the galaxy is, the more it kind of slows down. So I don't want to make it too big, but I do like having like a large galaxy. Also, the larger the galaxy, the longer it is to play the series. And since there's going to be a new update coming out, there's going to be an update coming out in April the 2nd, April the 6th. I'll probably get that expansion, and I don't want to be playing the same old thing for too long. It's going to probably take me a little bit more than a month to play all of this, but if I record consistently, I should be able to get through the game pretty easily by that time. But a few things, I don't really care for advanced AI starts. I like us all to start on the same level. AI aggressiveness normal. Let's just start normal. Max fallen empires. Let's go with 3. AI Empires 17 seems balanced, seems fair amount. I'm just gonna go with the just starting with the basics. Allowed faster than light travel, any. I feel like they can all travel however fast they want to go at different types. I can go warp, hyperdrive, I can go wormhole, but I'm just gonna say any, so that they're not all boxed into the same travel type. Because I think, to be realistic, the different species will have different methods of travel. That just makes perfect sense. So they just let them kind of pick what they want to do. In player placement, instead of having them all clustered together, I want them to be randomly placed. I especially don't like them being next to me. In-game crisis, I'm kind of hesitant to say on because who knows what's going to happen. But also at the same time, hey, let's just see what happens, because sometimes challenge is part of making a game good. So, boom. With that started, a new game begins. And we're going to follow the Kuru shell empire into the grand beginnings. And as it loads, preparing the game, it starts. We have the initial beginning dialogue. In the eons since the first primitive Kuru communities took shape in the archipelags and lagoons of Kundia, our civilization has spread and prospered. Many false prophets took it upon themselves to offer spiritual guidance to our people as we advanced through the ages, but the true faith prevailed. The last heathen strongholds were vanquished after several bloody crusades, uniting us under the holy will of a single divine leader. Now, after the successful creation of artificial subspace wormholes, the finest minds of the Kuru shell have finished construction of the first wormhole station at the edge of our system. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. And with that begins the journey into space. Kuru shell begins. And let's see where we are in the galaxy. We are at the very far bottom left corner. And we're going to go from here, and who knows what we're going to find. But this is going to be an exciting series. I hope you all have a great time watching me play this game, and I'd love to hear your input. I prefer positive input over negative input, but we'll see what kind of input I get depending on how crazy I am at playing this game. Anyway, have a great day. God be with you.